All right, so I got a pretty good storm coming in behind me here, and I thought it was appropriate for this video because in many ways we have a storm coming come November based on everything we know regarding our election system here in the US and the way that people like to act when they don't get their way. But luckily, right now, we have a way to kind of glimpse into the future based on what's happening in France, which is why you should be paying attention to France and why it's something that could at least give us an idea as to what to expect. And in case you're not aware, France is going through what's called a snap election right now. And the first round of that snap election was won by their National Rally Party, which is by the media considered to be far right, right? So they won the first round, and the second round of the snap election is tomorrow or Sunday, depending on when you're watching this video. Now, July 7th, because who knows when you're watching this video. But here's the thing. We should be watching what happens there, because since the first round of the snap election was won by this National Rally Party, there have been riots all across Paris, and people are acting out because they're concerned about this party taking power, which, in many ways, of course, demonstration is part of the democratic process, but rioting is generally not. And in fact, it starts to put itself into a certain territory of terminology regarding using violent tactics to scare away your political opponents, right? I don't know what term that could possibly be, but that's what we're witnessing there right now, which is why you should be paying attention, because if what happens there gets worse, which it could very likely do come tomorrow based on the results of this snap election, well, I think we can anticipate a lot of the same things happening here, because a lot of the same actors are involved and a lot of the same interest groups are also involved. Now, before we get any further, I want to mention that Midway USA is the biggest supporter of the channel. Thanks to them, I can make videos like this one. And obviously, they have everything you need when it comes to getting better prepared for whatever might happen come November. So a big thanks to Midway USA for having all that gear, equipment, and even long-term storage food. Now, here's the thing, and this is what I want you to understand. The first round was won by the National Rally Party, right, the far-right party. And it was followed then in second place by the New Popular Front, which is kind of like a leftist party or something like that. Like I said, it's France. I'm not that big into it, right? And then that was then followed by the Macron status quo party, right? Like everybody who's still in his coalition. And obviously people don't like him. I personally don't really like him, so I get it. But either way, that's what the results were, right? This is a democratic process. People are voting. This is what the votes are saying. So it just should be what it is, right? Well, here's the thing. Because the National Rally Party is considered far right, we have all these riots coming out of left field due to the fact that people on the left and people who don't agree with that party's stance on certain things like, I don't know, immigration and things of that matter are upset. So they're demonstrating. But of course, these aren't just peaceful protests. We all know what this eventually turns into. When fire is involved, it's generally not very peaceful. Now, because the second round of the snap election is tomorrow, and because there's a good chance this National Rally Party will win, people are very concerned. They're very concerned about the fact that there may be widespread rioting and looting and everything else involved with what we see when these certain political groups are not happy with the results of an election. And that's why you should pay attention, because there's a lot of similarities here, let's just say, when it comes to what's going on in France and what we'll have going on in November, right? And there's a good chance that tomorrow will create even more chaos in France. Even though it's supposed to be a democratic process, I guess when everyone gets mad, the best thing to do is start burning things, right? So Marine Le Pen is the front person, right, of the National Rally Party. And because the National Rally Party is very much like a right-wing conservative group, there's some similarities there to Donald Trump and the Republican Party, right? And of course, if Trump was to be elected in November, there's a good chance we could see a lot of the same exact style of activities based on everyone who's involved. It's all the same people and all the same interest groups, right? Now here's the thing. The media is putting this in a certain type of spin that shouldn't be surprising to you, but should also be indicative of what else to expect come November if we have similar election results, right? I don't care who you're voting for, you should be prepared for things to get weird in November, no matter what side of the aisle you fall on. But, I mean, come on. But anyway, okay, the media, the way they're spinning this is that France is on the brink of a political catastrophe if the National or the National Rally Party wins. Sorry, I'm mixing these all up because there's the New Popular Front and the Coalition and the Rally. I just don't care that much, right? But it's a good thing to kind of pay attention to because of these similarities and because of how these people are acting right now. So if the National Rally Party wins, the media is saying civil unrest is very possible. But it's not because of the other groups coming out and acting up and doing things that aren't very democratic and doing things that are damaging to people's livelihoods. It's not because of that. It's because the civil unrest is possible if the National Rally Party enacts policies that penalize certain groups. It's not because these other groups are going out and doing the things. It's because this party's ideology is just so wrong that it's understandable why these things are going to happen because what other choice do these people have, right? And that's a big concern because I can already predict the same level of spin in our own media here in the US based around all the same circumstances. And so I think you should be watching France right now. Not because it really matters, because unless you're in France, and in that case, you should probably be paying attention. I'm sure it affects you directly. But if you're in the US, like I am, it's not going to hurt me or affect me really at all, let's be honest. But it definitely gives me a little bit of a crystal ball to look into and say, not sure if I like how that's going. Or, oh, that's what's going to happen if the election results look like this. Or, oh, those are the tactics they're going to use in order to try to force their will upon the people, or whatever it might be. So pay attention tomorrow and pay attention thereafter to see how this thing unfolds. But in reality, there's a good chance this National Rally Party is going to walk away with it. And if that happens, well, who knows what's going to happen in France, right? Here we are. And unfortunately, these are the lessons we're having to learn right now because, well, it's an election year and we all just want to be better prepared. So, listen, if you need anything from me at all, you go to magicprepper.com. There's all types of stuff there, so make sure you check it out. If you want to support the channel directly, you can go to Subscribestar. It's $5 a month. There's some preparedness incentives, as well as private dialogue and private live streams, which I highly appreciate you being a part of. Or if you just want to be in the private live streams, hit the join button below and become a member of the channel. Otherwise, I'll take a like, a subscribe, or nothing at all, because I just appreciate you being here in general. It's going to be it for Magic Prepper.